Hey everyone, hope that you're all doing well today. So for today's video, we are going to be doing a rundown of what I would call a near perfect laning phase in top lane. Now, I've been trying to do this video for about a month and a half, but unfortunately, in all the games that I've played on Summoner's Rift in about that time, the opportunity really didn't present itself until I had this lane that I played against an Aatrox last night as Mordekaiser. So I'm going to do a full rundown analysis of how and why this is almost the perfect laning phase. And the reason I say almost is that our mid laner Kai'Sa ended up getting first tower before I did, and I only ended up getting 3 turret plates instead of 5. Other than that, the rotations, the outplays, and the farm score is what we're going to be analyzing and how I played that out. So without any further ado, let's just get started. Now, keeping in mind that we want to focus on the following in terms of importance, which is CS first, then towers, then kills, meaning that farming is more important than getting kills. Now, after our leash, I head up top lane here, and I dance around with Mordekaiser here at level 1. Now, coming up, you're going to see an experimental trade I have, because at this point, I'm not sure who wins the matchup at level 1. Now, granted, Aatrox does have 3 abilities, but if he misses the outer parts of his Q, he deals less damage. Now, in this case, with that first trade, I clearly see that Aatrox wins the level 1. So I back off and proceed to keep farming until I hit level 3. Now, at this point in the matchup, essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to focus with trading Qs with Mordekaiser while dodging his. So in that last trade right there, I got a Q of damage off on Aatrox, but you can see that I've dodged all 3 of his Qs, and I'm using my passive damage in my W as well as my pots to heal up, so that way when I get to the next power spike, which is right here at level 3, I'm going to have an advantage over Mordekaiser. Now, he missed his first Q there, which means he's going to be on cooldown, and even though he hit his W, we still got a good trade there. So right now, we have a health advantage on Aatrox, and we're also slow pushing the wave into him. Now, slow pushing means that we're allowing my minions to gather in a larger number, and we are only last hitting his minions. So what this does is this creates a pocket of safety. So if he tries to come up on me for a trade, I have 7 or 8 minions that he has to fight through versus his 2 to none, which of course he played that smart and played safe on. But because he had to back off, right now I have both the farm advantage and the health advantage. Now we're playing safe here because we're under his turret, and we want to dance around our minions so he can't hit his W. Now, one thing I should have done as I push that up is warded, because you can see that Nidalee came up. However, she did die earlier, so when she ganked, she had level 2, and I had level 4. Now, I had Flash Ghost prepared to go in on her, and because of Mordekaiser's passive and the fact that he's 2 levels up on Nidalee this early in the game, he actually wins that. Now, the fact that Aatrox was down under his turret means that he might have to burn Flash to get to Nidalee, which means between that and his health disadvantage on me, that would have been an easy 1v2 for Mordekaiser to win. Now, right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bait his teleport out by slow pushing the wave towards his turret. And I'm doing that again by only last hitting the minions and gathering a wave to push into him. Now, what's important here is that before I back, I crash this wave because he can generate a freeze that is slightly away from his turret, and thus locking me out from minions. Now, he didn't end up teleporting there, so what we did was we shoved that turret into his lane, and we're going to go back for our first buy. Now, because I'm playing against an Aatrox, the first items that we're buying is Oblivion Orb, 2 health pots, and a control ward. Now we're going to fast forward here and get to the next part. Now, after we drop the control ward in our top lane Tribush, 2 things to note. First of all, we have a good start to a CS lead over Aatrox. Right now we're 34 to 28, as well as about 6 or 7 minions pushing into us. And we want his wave to shove into us and not play in it because of how many minions that he had. However, I decide to dance with the minions there and with Aatrox to generate a slight freeze outside of the turret range because level 6 is coming up. We want to generate a minion wave in our favor, meaning that we have more minions, so we can hard shove back into his turret, and if he ends up making a mistake, we can ult and kill him. Now, in this case, he misses his first Q, so I decide to ghost ult and do my full combo, and anticipating his flash Q away. And since my passive is still going, we're going to hard shove the wave here and try and get his TP out. Now, I did mess up one auto attack in my ultimate, so that's just a slightly mechanical thing that I can work on. Now, here we're going to back again, and after this back, because we hard shoved the wave, Aatrox is going to TP, and right now we have a 49-32 CS lead. So now let's fast forward and skip to the next portion of the laning phase. Now, after Aatrox TPs here, he has to go down to his blue buff because Olaf and Kai'Sa are down there, and they end up winning that trade over Nidalee down there. So Aatrox comes back up top lane after he responds to the skirmish in the jungle. And what's happening right now is we recognize that he has more minions than we do. So this is our first instance of real XP and gold denial because we're letting his bigger wave destroy our minions so that way he doesn't get that golden XP, thus giving us our first real start to our snowball, despite the fact that we already have a kill. So right now we're 59 to 40 CS, which means gold-wise we're actually up 2 kills, I would say about 2.5 kills, rather than just the 1. Now, because he's trying to fight into me, I'm using my abilities to punish him and bully him out, which is why his wave breaks there. Now, right now, again, in order to punish his mistakes and try and force some, we are auto-generating a bigger wave for ourselves because of the positioning of the minions. Because our minions are closer to our tower, they're going to get there faster than his, which means they're going to push in faster. So rather than hard shoving the wave, we are letting our minions develop so that way if he tries to come in, he's going to get punished for that. So again, that was another instance of him trying to fight me and trade, but obviously because I have more damage, he is going to be losing those trades. So here we're going to hard shove, so that way the lane will reset. And because Aatrox isn't the best at farming, we're going to try and also deny him minions that way, as well as punish him and get extra damage off. Now, what's happening right now is because the lane has reset in such a way that it is very close to his turret, his minions are going to arrive faster than our minions, which means it's going to shove back towards us. Now, I still can punish him here for trying to play aggressive and make mistakes because of the fact that I'm ahead and he also has less HP than I do. Now, Nidalee decides to throw a spear here, but I have my ultimate ready if she tries to engage. My mistake for not having that warded, but because of the lead I have over Aatrox right now, it is... I am able to kill either one of them should they try to hard engage on me. Now, I did make a mechanical mistake there of not killing him because I missed my auto attack. However, this is actually perfect because his TP is on cooldown. So what I'm doing right now is I am hard shoving, and there's Kai'Sa getting first turret, obviously. And right at about the 10-minute mark, we have 91 CS versus his 51, and 1 kill over him, which is huge. Now, we did just get 1 turret plate, and he doesn't have any, which means we have that additional 160 gold over him generated from towers, and he does not. Now, what we're doing right now is that in order to get back to lane at the same time that he does, and there goes the fast forward, we get 1 turret plate and immediately back so we're not greedy, and he decides to make another mistake there. And that flash for me was a little bit unnecessary, but it was more so to secure the kill. But just like before, he decided to miss a Q, and then we decided to act upon that because we had more damage and more healing than he ended up having. Now, again, his TP is still on cooldown, and we are hard shoving here again, and I believe we end up getting 2 plates off of this. So, looking at our current stats, we are 2-0 with part of our mythic, cooldown boots, and grievous wounds, with 104 farm, and he has half of his mythic, 1 longsword, his starting item, and tier 1 boots with 59 farm. And according to the levels, because he just hit level 9 and we're still level 10, this suggests that we are a level and a half above him in terms of our base stats. Now, basically what happens here is I back off into the bush, and I can tell, and I'm sure you guys can tell, that he's kind of tilted at this point. So I let him push up because he doesn't have it warded, and we just go full ham on him and force him to back. Now, what ends up happening here, I missed another auto attack, again, mechanical, but because he has so low health, not only does he have to go back, but this also forces his TP, which is off cooldown again. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this turret plate, and here's something actually very good that I did mechanically, unlike the 3 total auto attacks that I missed. I use my E to throw him backwards, and he decides to keep fighting me. So, because we're winning this trade, we go into the Death Realm. He gets to the edge of the Death Realm, and I just hammer slap him in the face. So, again, TP is now on cooldown. So what we're going to do is... Oh, we actually ended up getting... Yeah, we got that 3rd turret plate back there. Now, despite the rage quit, let's get into the statistical reason why we were able to win lane and why this is a near perfect laning phase. This is rated about 14 minutes because the turret plates fell, and this is when the end of the laning phase starts to happen. So, comparing items right away, we have our tier 2 boots, we have our grievous wound item, which is necessary to rush against a healer like Aatrox, and we have half of our mythic completed. Now, compared to Aatrox, he has half of his mythic like we do, and we also both have the same starting items. However, he also has tier 1 boots, and he just has a longsword and a ruby crystal for a little bit of damage and health. Looking at the kills, obviously it's 3-0 to 0 and 3, but the biggest part of why our lead was so big and why we were able to snowball against him was the CS difference. We have 114 CS to 64. That is a 50 CS difference. So if you are to compare that and add that to the number of kills that we have gold-wise, that is roughly 3.5 kills on top of the 3 kills that we already have. So gold-wise, we have 6.5 kills, and EXP-wise, we ended up being 2 levels above him by the time the end of the laning phase rolled around. Now, like I had mentioned, the priority is always CS, then towers, then kills. So what we did was we ended up playing how you always want to play the laning phase, which is worry about getting CS and punish their mistakes and focus on the matchup. So just like we saw back at level 1, I recognized that I lose to Aatrox at level 1, so I want to play safe, get my farm, and then once level 3 rolls around and I start to win, sidestep abilities, and not make mechanical errors, which, as we saw, I had with 3 different missed opportunities with simply missing auto attacks and canceling them a little bit too early. Well, guys, there you have it, a near-perfect laning phase. This is the kind of laning phase that in almost every matchup you want to try and generate every game. Now, I realize that every game is going to be different, as well as the people you face off against and MMR differences, but this should be a baseline example, so no matter what champion you play and no matter what the matchup it is, this is the example that you want to try and generate for yourself so you can easily snowball games and get that win. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see each other again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.